Argonauts played Saturday night at the CNE Stadium in Toronto. The game of the week tonight and on future Wednesday evenings presents the videotaped highlights of Canadian pro football played in Toronto and Hamilton throughout the 1962 season. And now let's join Johnny Esau and Anna Stukas with our Channel 9 football crew for the kickoff of tonight's Elgin Motors Game of the Week.
Number 44, Bill Mitchell going back for the kickoff. Tommy Grant, number 18, and Garney Henley, number 26. There you see them waiting for the kickoff, and the ball game is underway. Henley on the 11-yard line to the 15, to the 20. Good block to the 30, and he gets away from Art Johnson. Tries to cut back in. He's hit and dropped by Rollick and then pinned on the 34-yard line. A fine run back of 23 yards after a 54-yard kick. Bruce Claridge coming in to get a piece of him as well. And so we have the Hamilton Tiger Cats with a 1st and 10 on the Hamilton 34-yard line. Toronto into a 6-man defense. Henley flanks to the left, Tommy Grant out to the left. Frank Cosentino, the quarterback, and he's going back to throw, and he's looking for that long one down here to Tommy Grant, but it was far off the target. He was covered all the way back by number 20, Jim Roundtree, and it'll be 2nd down and 10 to go for the Tiger Cats on the Hamilton 34-yard line. Jim Trimble said that he didn't expect to throw the ball much tonight, that it would be primarily a running game. Now, maybe he was hoping Toronto would hear and listen and thus come out with the home run ball on the very first play of the game. 2nd and 10 for the Tiger Cats. And they give to Garney Henley, turning that left corner back into the 40 and dropped on the 40. It's a gain of 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4 to go for Hamilton on the Hamilton 40-yard line. Patrick making the tackle. Lynn Bottoms and Joe Hernandez. There you see Hernandez, number 35, Bottoms, number 14, the deep man on the Toronto 20-yard line. 3rd down and 4 for Hamilton on their own 40, and Joe Zuger goes back to the Hamilton 24-yard line. The snap and the boot, and he powers a good one that sends Hernandez back to the 24-yard line, cutting to his left to the 30, back into the 35, into the 40, into the 45, and dropped on the 45-yard line. Hit in there by Joe Carruthers, number 56, and Ellison Kelly, number 54. A 46-yard boot and a 21-yard run back. Argonauts with Tobin Rhodes, number 18, the quarterback, as Dave Mann flanked to the right, Ron Morris, the right halfback. Shadow stays in with McDougal, and Rhodes is going back to throw, and he's trying to throw that long one down there to Morris, and he does not get it. Morris was back in behind Grant McKee, and Jerry Philp took the defense away with him and left Morris open, but the ball was too high.
He's wide open. Johnny had a great chance to take it, but if you notice down there are a couple of soft spots out in the field. The ground crew got trapped. They believe the weatherman, and we had 2 hours of rain on the field the other night. They've done a good job of cleaning the field up. Morris hit a soft spot in there, just slowed him up enough to miss that because that was TD all the way.
2nd down and 10 for the Argonauts on the Toronto 45-yard line. They've got the left end Linney split off. Shadow is the slot back on the left side, and the big rush is on McDougal, and it's good down here to Philp into the 50. He gets away from Gary Schreider. Laterals out here to Shadow. Shadow runs into, there's a penalty on the play. Offside lateral. It's not a penalty, but it'll be brought back 5 yards that they've gained. And Garney Henley came in to hit Dick Shadow and stop him at the 36-yard line. They'll rule it back where the offside lateral came, and that was on the 43-yard line. 23 yards was the length of the gain. Now, we do have a penalty on the play as well. Illegal interference is the call, as well as the offside lateral. So it'll be 1st down, Toronto, back on the Hamilton 52-yard line.
I think the officials ruled that after Philp threw that lateral to Shadow, he sort of got in somebody's way. Well, let's say he ruled that Philp threw a block to help Shadow pick up that extra 5 yards. The official right on the job, and he saw it.
The offside lateral brought it back to the 43, and then the 10-yard penalty on top of that. So it's 1st and 10 on the 53-yard line. And the Toronto Argonauts with Rhodes going back to throw. The rush is on. Screen on that left side again to McDougal, but a fine play by John Barrow. drives him out right at the line of scrimmage. Barrow, number 61, coming all the way from his defensive tackle spot on the right side. And they lose 5 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 15 to go. The Yardsticks were driven out with the pile up on that sideline. We thought they were back at the line of scrimmage, but obviously they were not. So it is second down and 15 yards to go for the Argos on the Toronto 53-yard line. Man flanks to the right, Shadow out to the right. Morris stays in with McDougall. Rote going back to throw again, and it's down that right side. It is no good. Intended for Man, being too well covered by Garney Henley. So Henley, number 26, and there you get a look at him, is seeing two-way action tonight as he goes offensively for the first time in some time, and of course replaces Ron Howell defensively, not in his spot, but back in the backfield.
I noticed that they've got Don Southern over on the other side to look after that big Audrey Linney.
Southern and Henley are the receivers for Hamilton on their own 7-yard line. Man boots a bit of a wobbler and running in under it there on the 17-yard line. Southern moves into the 20, gets up to the 22, is carried back to the 15-yard line. His forward point of advance will likely be ruled at about the 19, and that's where it is.
The Ticats are unable to move the ball in the next sequence, and after the punt, it's Argo ball, first down at the Toronto 44.
Zuger is still second in punting, a couple of yards behind Dave Mann in the league standing. Jerry McDougall is caught behind the line of scrimmage again by Ron Ray this time, a defensive left end. And they may have lost a yard on the play, maybe 2. Yes, they rule him down on the 42-yard line, so it is a loss of 2. It'll be second down and 12 to go. If these defensive lines keep taking command on these rushes, we could be forced into probably more punts than you usually see between these two clubs. Man, number 16, flanks left. Ron Morris sitting outside the left end, Aubrey Linney. That leaves Shadow and McDougall back in tight, and Shadow goes in motion. And here's that pass down there, intercepted by Don Southern on the 50 to the 45 to 40. He's getting a block here from Garney Henley, and Fernandez is back into the 15 and dropped down the 11-yard line by Tobin Rote. 45 yards of return by Don Southern, and the Toronto Argonauts are driven right back to their own 11-yard line. For Don Southern, that is his 5th interception of the year, and he leads the Eastern Conference in that department. There goes Frank Cosentino, number 11, and you see number 20, George Scott, back in offensively. 21 is Golston, 23 Kuntz, and 18 is Tommy Grant. The offensive backfield for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They are first and 10 on the Toronto 11-yard line. They start Kuntz into the line, and Cosentino coming back to throw, looking to that sideline, and it is no good. Covering Garney Henley down there, where at least George Scott, was number 26, Art Johnson. Bit of a tug-of-war for that ball. It was almost caught, and it was almost intercepted, and they both wind up without it. I think with the fact that Scott is in there, plus Grant, and Golston, I think they might probably see that football up a little higher tonight than the normally running Tiger Cats. And Cosentino rolling out to his left, going to stop and throw, and he's trying to get deep to that end zone, and it is no good. Again intended for Tommy Grant, but covered by Jim Roundtree and way beyond the dead ball line, so it couldn't have been completed anyway. Cosentino has failed to complete one of the 4 passes that he has thrown. Tobin Rote has completed 2 out of 5, 1 intercepted. Don Southern will attempt a field goal here from the 19-yard line. Cosentino will hold. Mike Wicklum is the lone defender back there. The ball goes off the side of his foot, and it'll go as a single point. So the Tiger Cats, following the 45-yard return on the interception by Don Southern, failed to score on 2 passes and miss on the field goal, and thus pick up a single point and lead 1-0.
Argos failed to move the ball from their own 25, and after an exchange of punts, they have the ball first and 10 at their own 28.
Man is flanked wide to the right. Linney, the left end, is split off, and they give the draw play up the middle of Jerry McDougal with a big hole to the 40, to the 50, to the 50, to the 45. And he's chased by Grant McKee, and his punt keeps going and is dropped on the 23-yard line. He broke the tackle by Garney Henley, but he slipped and fell, and he might have gone all the way.
You noted Aubrey Linney went downfield there on that pass, turn around and wipe out two Hamilton men. I guess when you're 6'7", when you're lengthening out, you can look after two of them. He took Jerry McDougal loose there for another 30, 40 yards on that play. Team there.
McDougal is now fifth in rushing with 437 yards. He has just added 59 yards there, and Jim Trimble is doing some fast juggling as he takes Bob Minahane out of that defensive line. Argos first and 10 on the Hamilton 23-yard line. And Rode is going back to throw out to that left side to Morris. There's a flag on the play. He goes to the 20, into the 15, and is dropped on the 10-yard line. There's a holding penalty, and we'll see whether it is against Hamilton or Toronto. They're calling the ball back to the 23-yard line.
Johnny obviously holding on that one because Ray Boucher threw that flag up before Rode threw the ball. He caught somebody hanging on.
A 12-yard gain is wiped out, and the holding penalty will give him the first down over again at the 32-yard line. And probably what helped to set up that big fullback draw, Stu, was the fact that Tobin has been letting that big rush come in there, and he's been dumping that screen time after time, and, boy, they trapped him on that one, had him cold. First and 20 for the Argonauts on the Hamilton 33-yard line. Toronto trailing 1-0. 4 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. Shadow and Linney to the left. And here's McDougal looking down the middle to Jerry Philp, and he cannot hold on. Philp had it, and as he turned around to go with it, he dropped the ball. 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter of play. It's 1-0 for Hamilton on a field goal attempt that went astray. Surprisingly enough, each team has had only one first down. There's Big Linney, 6'7", 240-pounder, who was a big man in the Argos' second win of the year. Pretty good match with him and Paul Decker trying to cover each other if they ever did. 2nd and 20. Roth going back, looking to this left side, but the rush is on, and he is dropped in there by Ron Ray, number 66, the defensive left end, who just broke through his blocking, put a shoulder in a road, and dropped him on the 44. Third down and 33 yards to go. So Don Southern and Garney Henley come back to the goal line. Henley goes back to the goal line, and Southern back to about the 3. Dave Mann will boot from the Toronto 51-yard line. They set Fernandez outside to get a rush on Mann to try to get in there and block it. There goes Henley taking it 5 yards deep. The big chase is on by Lynn Bottoms, and he's going to get out of there. He's to the 5, to the 10, the 15, and he is driven out on the 17-yard line. Hit out there by Danny Nicolak.
The Ticats stopped on the next sequence, and after an exchange of punts, they have the ball first down on their own 15-yard line.
Hit pass that's knocked down. Doug McNichol, number 72, reached up and batted the ball away. And so it is the 6th pass that Cosentino has thrown tonight. He's been able to complete but one. Jim Trimble has been juggling his linemen in and out of there more tonight than I've ever seen him do before. Here's Cosentino looking to that left side. It is no good. Intended for George Scott, too high. Covered by Morris, number 11, and 20 Roundtree. And it'll be 3rd down and 10 to go. 3rd down. We have 23 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. And so far, we've had a total of 8 punts in the opening quarter, which does not set a record for 1962 because we had 8 earlier in the season in the opening quarter. 3rd and 10, and this time Zuger is back at his own goal line. Bottoms and Hernandez, the receivers. And Zuger gets a lot of time to hit this one, and he drives a dandy. Hernandez back to his own 44, heading to that sideline of the 50, and is driven right into the Toronto bench. And Dick Shadow had to tackle him to keep him from driving into the woods. George Scott drove him out. And it'll be a 1st and 10 for Toronto on the 55-yard line. A 52-yard boot, a 12-yard run back. And we have 4 seconds remaining in this quarter. There's the Argonauts with number 53 Patrick at right guard, 50 Beck at left guard, 79 Philp the right end, Linney 75 the left end. There's Mann 16 peeling out to the right, Shadow 22 out to the left. That leaves Hernandez in there as the backfielder offensively for the first time with McDougal, and Rode is throwing to that long side, and it could be picked off. It is knocked down by Garny Henley. Another half a stride, and he'd had that whole sideline to go. It was intended for Dave Mann, and it'll be 2nd down and 10 to go. Right on the 55-yard line as the gun sounds to end the opening quarter. Hamilton leading 1-0, and the telecast, this game between the Toronto Argonauts and Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Argos are forced to punt when the second quarter begins, and after an exchange of punts, it's Hamilton ball, 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line.
They send Kuntz into the line and give to George Scott as he waits to pick up his blocking, and he's hit high there by Jim Andriotti and Jim Roundtree. Roundtree hit him low. Andriotti came up and hit him high and doubled him back, along with the help there from Jerry Patrick, and they wind up with a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8 to go for the Tiger Cats on their own 41. Tiger Cats have a 1-point lead over the Ottawa Rough Riders right now, and the Ottawa Rough Riders are in Montreal on Monday afternoon for the Thanksgiving Day battle. Here goes Cosentino as he hands to Kuntz. A big hole opens up. He gets away from Roundtree and is cut from behind by Whitlam and dropped on the 44-yard line. 25 yards, the length of the gain by Bobby Kuntz. So the big plays today have been those fullback draws and fullback delays. Ticats have a 1st down on the Toronto 44-yard line. They have Goldston and Scott flanked to the right. Patterson split off. They give to Kuntz, tries to cut back inside the end, and he's cut from the side by Doug McNichol, and he's dropped on the 38. He gets very close to 7 yards on the play. Tex Shriver, number 77, from defensive left tackle, was in to help out, and it is a gain of 6. So it is 2nd down, 4 to go for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the Toronto 38. And this is the first sustained march that the Ticats have had. There's 8 minutes remaining in the first half, and the Cats are on top 1-0. Cosentino going back to throw. He's going to come back to his left, and he hits Bobby Kuntz, and he's dropped by Andriotti on the 32-yard line, so he has 6 yards and a 1st down. Don Southern comes into the offensive backfield for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and let's see who he is going to replace. It could be George Scott or Tommy Grant. Yes, it's Grant that is leaving, so Southern comes in. And it's a 1st down. Hamilton on the Toronto 32-yard line. Scott is out to the right. Goldston to the right. Southern is in motion right, and he could be throwing off it. He does. It's a long one down here for Scott, and it is knocked down. Action pass from Don Southern, and Art Johnson came back and looked for a while as though Scott was going to be wide open down there, but Johnson saw him at the last minute and was able to recover. Grant will come back in, and Southern will replace him. Southern is now the number 3 quarterback in the Hamilton scheme of things, and as a result, he was brought in to throw that last pass. Scott and Goldston again to the right. Grant and Kuntz stay in tight. Now Kuntz goes in motion left, and he's going to come back to that left side again, and it is no good. Tommy Grant reaching down for it, covered by John Reckner, number 34, and it goes incomplete. Don Southern comes back into the ball game, probably a field goal attempt. The line of scrimmage is the Toronto 32-yard line. It's 1-0 for Hamilton. 7 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the first half. They've been moving the ball well. Haven't been able to pick up too many 1st downs. Hamilton now has 5, and Toronto has 2. And Southern will be booting from his 39-yard line. That is the Toronto 39. Whitlam is back. And the ball is short and low. Wicklum is going to concede a single point, and that'll make it 2-0.
Argos move out to their own 40 after the single point, but Don Sutherland intercepts for Hamilton at the Ticat 48. After an exchange of punts, it's Argos' third down at their own 37.
Henley and Southern go back to receive for the Cats, back on their 20 and 25s, respectively. And Mann will boot from his own 20. Has to field another low one, and he pounds a wobbler up there. Henley waits for it to bounce, takes it on the 33, fumbles the ball, and the Argonauts have recovered. Gary Strickler has it. Gary Strickler, number 61, a rookie with the Argos, fell on the ball as Henley could not hold on.
Boy, there's a perfect example of a punt returner getting just a little bit careless. Henley was very casual about that. He's sort of going to suck somebody in. Reached down there and bingo, all of a sudden that's gone. And did you see that Tex Schriever drive him away from the ball? Let Strickler pick it up.
Well, we have 2 minutes remaining in the first half of play. Argos 1st and 10 on the Hamilton 31-yard line. Road and Shadow combining on the left side, and the ball is tipped away from Dave Mann by Don Southern. Shadow came back in and threw a nice block to protect at least Road, and got the time to get the ball away. And it also gave Don Southern time to cover on Dave Mann. Southern certainly has been the kingpin defensively for those Cats tonight. 2nd and 10 for the Argonauts on the Hamilton 31-yard line. Gary Schreiner, wearing number 12, playing up there on the right corner. 2nd and 10 for the Toronto Argonauts. And Rote taking a little time, and the ball is knocked, Linney was knocked away from the ball by Joe Zuger. So it'll be 3rd down and 10, and let's see if Billy Mitchell will come in and attempt the field goal here. The line of scrimmage is the 31. Field goal would give the Argos a 3-2 lead. And you have to put it in the air about 37 yards. There he is pointing to the 37-yard line, so Rick Shadow will hold for Bill Mitchell. 12 seconds remaining in the first half. The ball is wide, and back in the end zone with it is Garney Henley. He faked like he was going to return the punt, and then moves out to the 5-yard line, goes to the 11, and is caught by Ken Beck, number 50. So the Cats save another point and hold on to their 2-0 lead. And we now have 57 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Jim Trimble must have worked all week on that defense, particularly his defensive line, because he's really got him on fire tonight. 1st and 10, Hamilton on their own 12-yard line with 49 seconds remaining in the first half. Argos now have McNichol playing defensive right end with Patrick almost as a linebacker ready to drop off. And Cosentino gives here to George Scott. He tucks the ball into the other arm and is caught at about the 13-yard line by Jerry Wilson. And moving in to help him out on the play was Mike Wicklum. He picks up 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 to go for the Cats on their own 13. 35 seconds remaining in the first half. That's the 76th-yard running for Hamilton. Toronto has 60. Toronto moves into an 8-man line. Cosentino fakes to Fernandez, keeps the ball, running that side, gets away from Art Johnson, keeps going to the 21-yard line as he slid off the tackle from Mike Wicklum. So he broke 2 and moves in, and finally Rector had to come over to stop him. They ruled that he touched down just shy of the 20-yard line, so it'll be 3rd down and 2 to go. 10 seconds remaining in the first half. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats send in their punting team. Dave Mann goes in as one of the receivers. And I wonder if he could be returning this punt, trying to get a scramble ball or a single point. I wonder if Joe Zuger has noticed him. They put Jerry Philp as the mid-safety man, and Zuger will be booting from about his 6-yard line. This will be interesting if it comes to man. Well, they're kicking away from him, and Bottoms lets it bounce. Man lines up behind him like they might throw it across. He picks it up on the 38, and he is dropped on the 44-yard line. The clock shows the time has run out. The gun sounds to end the first half of play with Hamilton leading 2-0. The telecast of this game between the Toronto Argonauts and Hamilton Tiger Cats coming to you from Toronto.
Well, it was quite a defensive battle in that first half, as neither team could mount a sustained offense. Both Tobin Rote and Frank Cosentino were way off on their passing, and neither the Argos nor the Tiger Cats could get much going on the ground. With the halftime score sounding more like a hockey game, the teams headed into the second half of play as the rain at the CNE Stadium started to fall more steadily. It stayed just at a very easy clip. It didn't come down too hard and didn't really affect the passing as much as it might have if the rain had fallen a little harder. However, it certainly made the field conditions greasy, as you saw in the first half. Well, now let's rejoin Johnny Esau, Anna Stukas, and our Channel 9 football crew for the second half kickoff.
45. Here is the whistle, and the second half is underway. Don Southern puts this ball back to the goal line, and bumping against the goalpost is Hernandez, now coming out to the 20-yard line, slips and keeps going, and is dropped on the 23-yard line. Going in to get Joe Hernandez was Joe Carruthers. 67-yard boot, a 25-yard run back, and the Toronto Argonauts are 1st and 10 on their own 23. They trail Hamilton 2-0. Tobin Rote the quarterback, and we wonder when it'll be if we'll see Tom Modlin, their second quarterback tonight. They split their left end. Linney wide to the left. And Rote is going back to throw. Looking out here on the left side is good. To Shadow on the 25. Gets away from Zuger and cannot get beyond the 33-yard line. And he is very close to the first down as John Barrow, who is having his best game possibly of the year, came all the way across to catch Shadow because Shadow had given that spin and had broken the tackle first put on him by Joe Zuger. He does get the first down, so it is 1st and 10 for the Argonauts on the Toronto 33-yard line. Defensively for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they have Vitti, McClung, Scott, Barrow, and Newman from left end to right end. They've been shifting Barrow to middle guard and moving Vince Scott to defensive right tackle. There goes Tobin Rote, gives the fullback draw here to Jerry McDougall. He's caught by Barrow and piled up right on the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8 to go. Tiger Cats weren't to be caught on the old draw this time. Only 6 of them had a good shot at the ball carrier. George Dixon not only leads the scoring parade, he also leads in rushing with 1,023 yards in 9 games. He's even leading Earl Lunsford, the leader in the Western Conference to this point. 2nd down and 8 to go for the Toronto Argonauts. They fake the draw this time, and Rote throwing a long one down here to Hernandez. He's got it. He's gone. Nobody near him. Hernandez started to loaf the last 15 yards. He turned around, and he saw Henley suddenly starting to gain ground on him, so he had to shift in for the last few yards.
Mitchell adds the convert to send the Argos in front 7-2 after the kickoff.
Underway. Don Southern puts this ball back to the goal line, and bumping against the goalpost is Hernandez, now coming out to the 20-yard line, slips and keeps going, and is dropped on the 23-yard line. Going in to get Joe Hernandez was Joe Carruthers. 67-yard boot, a 25-yard run back, and the Toronto Argonauts are 1st and 10 on their own 23. They trail Hamilton 2-0. Tobin Rote the quarterback, and we wonder when it'll be if we'll see Tom Modlin, their second quarterback tonight. They split their left end. Linney wide to the left. And Rode is going back to throw. Looking out here on the left side is good. To Shadow on the 25. Gets away from Zuger and cannot get beyond the 33-yard line. And he is very close to the first down as John Barrow, who is having his best game possibly of the year, came all the way across to catch Shadow because Shadow had given that spin and had broken the tackle first put on him by Joe Zuger. He does get the first down, so it is 1st and 10 for the Argonauts on the Toronto 33-yard line. Defensively for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they have Vitti, McClung, Scott, Barrow, and Newman from left end to right end. They've been shifting Barrow to middle guard and moving Vince Scott to defensive right tackle. There goes Tobin Rode, gives the fullback draw here to Jerry McDougal. He's caught by Barrow and piled up right on the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8 to go. Tiger Cats weren't to be caught on the old draw this time. Boy, 6 of them had a good shot at the ball carrier. George Dixon not only leads the scoring parade, he also leads in rushing with 1,023 yards in 9 games. He's even leading Earl Lunsford, the leader in the Western Conference to this point. 2nd down and 8 to go for the Toronto Argonauts. They fake the draw this time, and Roth throwing a long one down here to Hernandez. He's got it. He's gone. Nobody near him. Hernandez started to loaf the last 15 yards. He turned around and he saw Henley suddenly starting to gain ground on him, so he had to shift in for the last few yards.
Mitchell adds the convert to send the Argos in front 7-2. After the kickoff, the Ticats are forced to punt from their own 51, and it's Argo ball, 3rd down at their own 31-yard line.
Southern 22 and Henley 26 back for the Tiger Cats. High snap, and Mann has to hit this one on the run. Gets a fair kick away, and it goes into touch. Loses a lot of yards on that one. Telecast of this game between the Toronto Argonauts and the Hamilton Tiger Cats coming to you from Toronto. Tommy Grant trying to go up for it and can't. He was being covered across there by Mike Wicklum. The length of that punt was 1 yard. And that doesn't help Dave Mann's punting average, but Norm Stoneberg, who, as you know, missed the first part of the season, has never really hit the form that made him an all-star center for so long. And he's been having his troubles here tonight. Mann has recovered in most cases, but this last one he was lucky to get it away for a 1-yard gain. The Tiger Cats are 2nd down and 10 on the Toronto 32-yard line. With flankers wide to the right, and they're going to throw short on the left side to Hal Patterson. Takes it on the 22-yard line and caught over there by Jim Roundtree. And this is very close to 11 yards, and it is a 1st down on the 21. So the Tiger Cats, bouncing back off the long Toronto touchdown, have now moved to the Toronto 21. Playing the short game much more effectively on this march as Cosentino's been rifling that ball. They split the left end Patterson off, keep the right end Decker in tight, and they give to Bobby Coons, who breaks into the 10. He's down to the 7-yard line, stopped there by Jim Roundtree. Block thrown there by Bronco Nagurski that helped him open the hole, even though he came from the opposite side. And it is a 1st down to the Toronto 7-yard line. Changes there in the Hamilton scheme of things, with Tommy Grant going out, and he's being replaced in here by Garney Henley, number 26. They give to George Scott, who's into the 3-yard line and dropped on the 3. Coming up there underneath Scott was Mike Wicklum, who knocked him off stride and finally downed. Sam Fernandez comes in at that offensive backfield for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And Bobby Kuntz is limping off the field. He's all right, but got a bit of a bruise on the leg in that last pileup. It is second down, 2.5 yards to go for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They give to Henley, and he's over for the touchdown. Johnny Henley had a beautiful block there, cut Ron Morris, the defensive right halfback, out. He was coming up to make the tackle, but Henley walks over easily. It's now an 8-7 ball game in favor of the Tiger Cats.
Sutherland's convert makes the score Hamilton 9, Argos 7. And after the kickoff, Argos move all the way to the Ticat 42, where they're forced to kick. After an exchange of punts, it's Argo ball at their own 24 near the end of the third quarter.
10. And Roach gives the draw here to Jerry McDougal into the 33-yard line. The ball is loose, and I believe the whistle had killed the play. Bob Minahane and Vince Scott each came up with a half the football, but I believe the whistle had killed it. 51 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play with Hamilton leading 9-7. It is second down and 2 to go for the Argos on the Toronto 32-yard line. 25,000 fans looking on here tonight. And don't forget, you Montreal fans, it's that neighborly little battle with the Ottawa Roughriders and the Alouettes Monday afternoon in Montreal. Second down and 2 to go. And Roach fakes that throw on the right side, has to put his head down, and I don't know if he's got it or not. I don't believe he has. Vince Scott came in to hit him. Now, actually, I think he was going to throw that flare pass out to the right side. Saw there was nobody open. Then tried to run a quarterback sneak, but Scott hit him, and he is now down 3rd and 1. So 2nd and 1 and 2nd and 2 situations have been hard to come off of tonight for both clubs, but most particularly Toronto. Mann is back with his 11th punt of the evening on his own 17. Southern, there's a high snap he has to pull down. See how good he pounds it. He does. And Southern waits for it on the 37. Not much room to run. He's dropped right on the 37-yard line as Billy Mitchell is there, along with Gary Strickler. 40-yard boot and a 1-yard run back. Gun sounds to end the third quarter of play, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats are leading Toronto Argonauts 9-7. The telecast of this game between the Cats and the Argos is coming to you from Toronto. And the ball will be scrimmaged from the 38-yard line. That is the Hamilton 38, and the Cats have a first down. They lead 9-7 going into this quarter. Hamilton has 10 first downs, Toronto 9. Hamilton 136 yards rushing, Toronto 81. Hamilton has completed 5 out of 16 for 39 yards. Toronto 12 out of 29 for 214 yards. Hamilton has intercepted 2, Toronto 1. First and 10 now for the Cats. Frank Cosentino has Fernandez as his fullback, and he gives to him, and he ran right into his own blocker, Ellison Kelly, and he's fouled up right at the 40, so it's a gain of 2. There you see number 25, Sam Fernandez. He's a 5'11", 190-pounder, 22 years of age. Second down and 8 to go for the Tiger Cats on their own 40. They split Hal Patterson off to the left this time. They give to Tommy Grant, trying to turn that right corner, but Walt Radzig has him and drags him down with the help of Tex Schriever back on the 41. So that's right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and 8 yards to go. Exelby comes back along with Hernandez, and this is the first time out for Exelby in this ball game. 1 minute gone in the fourth quarter, and it's 9-7, Hamilton over Toronto. Joe Zuger going back to the Hamilton 26-yard line. Zuger pounds a bit of a shorty. Exelby takes it on the 27, cuts back into the 28, and he's dropped on the 28-yard line. And there you see Ken Kilray along with Baron Curtin. 43-yard boot, a 2-yard run back, so the Argonauts will have the ball. First and 10 on the Toronto 28. Argos have had 3 good drives. Two of them were nullified by interceptions. One went 75-yard touchdown, and now they're 1st and 10 on their own 28. They've got two flankers left and two out to the right side, and Rode is going back to throw. Looking there on the 35 and taking it actually on the 34-yard line was big Jerry Philp, or Linney, rather. Don Southern came over to make the tackle, and it's a gain of 6. 2nd down and 4 to go. 2nd and 4 for the Toronto Argonauts on the Toronto 34-yard line. Well, they were at the muddiest part of the field right there. Man comes out with Hernandez to the right. Shadow and the left end Linney are split off, and here is Rote coming back to throw down the middle, and it is good. And taken down on the 44-yard line. Jerry Philp comes up with it, and that's a good gain. That's at least good for the 1st down. It's a gain of 11 yards. And they have the ball on the 40, just over the 43-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Toronto at their own 43. Newman, Scott, Barrow, Minahane, and Ray, that defensive line. There's John Barrow, 61, barking out the defensive signals. He's in there at middle guard now, and Scott moves over to right tackle. They're into an 8-man line. Owen Road going back. They're trying to put that heat on him, and they give out here to Hernandez. Hernandez is dropped on the 50. He gets 7 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 3 to go. They're taking that big gamble with that 8-man line, Stoop.
Well, I think Hamilton know that Argos are going to be throwing here. They're putting a big rush on Rote, and notice they're not leaving any gaps down the middle for that draw. They're just closing right down, putting a lot of pressure on him, trying to make him get rid of that ball a little quicker. Mind you, they're throwing short passes, so it's not going to do anything to that plan unless they start going for the long run.
2nd down, 3 to go. Argos on the Toronto 50-yard line. And Tobin Road gives to Jerry McDougall, and he looks like he's short of the 1st down by a yard or a half a yard. Piled up in the center of the line, his guards, Beck and Patrick, couldn't open up that big middle that Stick was talking about as Minahane and Scott closed in.
Well, it's getting that time of year where you got to start worrying about keeping warm inside, so check your solar heat home heating plan provided by BA.
3rd down and a yard to go, and Argos send Jerry Patrick in again. Billy Mitchell comes out, so they did get their play in one way or another, and they're going to be gambling. 3rd down and 1. There's 11 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Argos are 3rd and 1 at their own 52. Dougal and Shadow stay in, and it's a quick kick with Dave Mann booting, and he pounds it down to the 5-yard line. He is going into the end zone. Henley is back in there after it, and there's a no-yards penalty unless he was an onside man. But, Stu, did you see him onside or not?
Well, this is the problem. He was supposed to be onside. He flared out. Now, whether he was behind Mann when Mann kicked the ball is going to have to be decided by the official. I think the officials have decided that he wasn't onside. Now, he was in a position, but when Mann dropped back, he wound up behind Hernandez, and therefore it is no yards, and being in goal, it's brought out to the 10-yard line instead of a 15-yard penalty.
The Cats fail to move on the next sequence, and the Argos move to the Hamilton 9-yard line, where a scoring drive is stopped when Sutherland makes his 3rd interception of the game in the end zone. It's Hamilton ball, 3rd down and 6 to go on their own 6-yard line.
And maybe hope for a good run back, or do we go in and try and hustle Joe Zuger and maybe get a roughing penalty?
He'll be booting from about 10 yards deep. Exelby is back to receive. Here is the snap, and moving under the ball is Hernandez into the 45-yard line. Tries to cut back in, and he's still at the 40 and dropped on the 40 by Bronco Nagurski. The telecast of this game between the Toronto Argonauts and Hamilton Tiger Cats is coming to you from Toronto. Well, the Argonauts, who have had 3 passes picked off by Don Southern today, 1st and 10 on the Hamilton 45-yard line. Rote going back to throw, and the big rush is on. He gets up, he pushes the forward lateral, and moving down to the ball. It's going to be called back. Linney took that offside lateral, and no flag is down as yet. They're going to roll it as an underhand forward pass. It was not an offside lateral.
That's right. There is no such thing as an offside lateral behind the line of scrimmage from a running play anymore with the swing and shovel passes. And this was the thing that Boucher was asking, was this man an eligible receiver? I think that was the problem there.
Well, the Argos get a 1st and 10 on the Hamilton 27-yard line. Rote going back to throw again. The rush is on. It's a long one down there, and is it picked off or is it not? No, he did not hold on to it. Zuger had it momentarily and couldn't hold it. Headed for Dick Shadow down there, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. They're on the 26-yard line. There's 3 minutes, 15 seconds remaining. And that Hamilton charge is coming very, very close to Tobin Road and has been in all those pass attempts here in the latter stages of this 4th quarter. 3 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. Argos are 2nd and 10 on the Hamilton 26-yard line. Rote going back to throw again. Better protection this time, and it's good. Down to the 16-yard line. And Jerry Philp made a fine catch on it as he was sending out into the flat to get away from that defender, and they're probably going to measure to see if it is a 1st down.
This game is brought to you by a British-American dealer who also brings you Canada's cleanest gasoline, final filtered BA88 and 98.
2 minutes, 50 seconds remaining, and there are the sticks. And get a good look at the measure here. Well, it's about a half a foot away. So it'll be 3rd down and inches to go for the Toronto Argonauts. Tex Schriever goes in. And Jerry Philp comes out after making that fine catch. And on this 3rd, what do? Do you go for a field goal? Because a field goal could win it. It's 3rd down. If you don't make yards here, they'll second-guess you till Christmas at least. And they're coming out running. And they give to Jerry McDougal, and he's over for the 1st down. Argonauts are 1st and 10 on about the 14-yard line as soon as we find that football. McDougal had a good head of steam as he took that handoff on a straight-ahead dive play to the 14-yard line. So it is 1st and 10 now for the Argos on the Hamilton 14-yard line. Tobin Road barking out his play for this next one. 2 minutes, 23 seconds remaining. And it's Hamilton leading 9-7. Man and shadow flank out to the left. Hernandez out to the right with Jerry Philp. And Rote going back to throw into the end zone, and it is no good. Hernandez could not hold on. He was covered by Grant McKee, number 17. He sent Hernandez down and across, trying to shake off McKee, but he couldn't quite hold on. So it is 2nd and 10 for the Argonauts on the Hamilton 14-yard line. 2 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. And will they run it to get in front of the goalposts?
I would.
Man to the left, again with 4 receivers out, 2 flankers on either side. Jerry McDougal lines up as the fullback. And he's going to come out throwing again. And he dumps out to the right side to McDougal. And McDougal gets up and goes, and he is dropped on the 12-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and about 8 yards to go. 1 minute and 42 seconds remaining. And the Argonauts hurry up. They're helping Billy Mitchell there tie up his boot. And, well, I guess this is going to be the toughest field goal he has faced this year. Single point's no good to them. They've got to be right. Dick Shadow will hold. Henley and Southern, they have 2 men back on this one. It's up and it's good. Billy Mitchell puts it through the uprights, and the Argos lead 10-9.
the way Mitchell went after that one. You might have seen that he just swung the foot and that ball just cleared the ball. This is one of the mistakes I think that Don Southern has been making. He's trying to boot that ball through the end zone. Say, well, if I miss, we're going to get a single. But here, as you pointed out, Johnny, a single was no good. Mitchell just stepped back, swung his foot, and made it look easy.
A minute and 16 seconds remaining, and Hamilton first and 10 on their own 35-yard line. Cosentino dropping back, trying to throw the long one down here to Patterson. It is no good. Knocked down by Jim Roundtree. A minute and 6 seconds now remaining, and that field goal by Billy Mitchell was his 5th good one in 9 attempts this year. Dave Mann comes into the defensive backfield for the Toronto Argonauts, and let's see who he's going to replace. John Reckner. See Reckner leaving there from the bottom of your screen, getting as much experience as they can back there. Second down, and 10 on the Hamilton 35-yard line. Here's Cosentino looking to that sideline to Patterson, and he cannot hold it. He winds up jumping right over that Toronto bench. The 1-minute flag is up. There's 50 seconds remaining. Argos leading 10-9. And let's see who's going to get the call for what could be the last play of the game for Hamilton. But Hamilton has had a great series of last-minute victories over this Toronto club, and let's see if it's in the books tonight. They were looking for the sleeper on the far side. Here's Cosentino going back to throw, looking for that long sideline, and it is no good. Henley had it and dropped it. So there's 35 seconds remaining in the ball game, and the Toronto Argonauts take over the ball, 1st and 10 on the Hamilton 35-yard line. Well, I imagine Frank Clare, Bill Smith, and all the Ottawa Rough Riders are a little elated about this, because that means that is if Argos continue to win this game. That would mean that Ottawa could take over first place on Monday. But the converse is true in Montreal, because Perry, Leo, and Jack are probably unhappy, because this means that Toronto could move into a tie with the Montreal Alouettes. So the pressure is really now on that Monday game. You better make sure you're in there for that one. They give to Dick Shadow. Shadow swinging to the right side is into the 30 and is dropped on the 30-yard line. A gain of 5 with 12 seconds remaining. 2nd down and 5 to go. 9. Listen to the fans counting it off. 5. The clock stops at 5. 4, 3, 2 seconds remaining. The flag is down, but the clock shows no time left. So all they've got to do is take the ball and sit on it. Well, they give to Dick Shadow on a sweep as he moves into the 27-yard line. The gun hasn't sounded as yet. There's the flag. The gun now sounds. The game is all over. The Toronto Argonauts have beaten the Hamilton Tiger Cats 10-9.
So the Argos edge the Ticats 10-9, and with the Ottawa victory over Montreal 26-24 on Monday, retain a share of 3rd place in the Eastern Conference with the Alouettes. Through the courtesy of the British American Oil Company and John Labatt Limited, together with CFTO TV, films of these exciting Game of the Week programs are being flown to Canadian Armed Forces overseas. The Game on future Wednesday evenings presents the videotape highlights of Canadian pro football played in Toronto and Hamilton throughout the 1962 season. We'll join Johnny Esau and Anastukas with our Channel 9 football crew for the kickoff of tonight's Elgin Motors Game of the Week in just a moment.
Kicking off for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. There is the whistle as Southern moves up to the ball. And the kick with Joe Hernandez taking it on the 15-yard line. To his right, to 20, to the 30, 35, 40, out of the 45, trying to cut back, gets away from Don Southern, and Grant McKee drives it out on the Hamilton 51-yard line, and it was Southern, who was the last man back, who steered into the sideline, which gave McKee a chance to come up and catch him and drive him out. A 50-yard kickoff, a 43-yard run back. The Toronto Argonauts are 1st and 10 on the Hamilton 51-yard line. Tobin Rote, number 15 at quarterback. Now the Argonauts will have Shadow, McDougall, Hernandez, and Mann in the offensive backfield. And Tobin Rote sends man out wide to the right. He has Hernandez sitting outside the right end. He gets a shadow. Jumps by the corner, moves into the 48-yard line, and is stopped after a gain of 3 yards on the play. In there to pull him down for the Tiger Cats was Zeno Karsh, number 15, the left corner linebacker. Argonauts have a second quarterback, Tom Maudlin, dressed today. And they have Bruce Claridge back in action. They have Lenny 75 at left end, Jerry Phillips 79 at right end. And Hamilton goes into a 7-man line, moving in and out of it. Man to the left, Hernandez to the right. Phillips, the right end is split off. Fullback drop, the middle of McDougal into the 45, the 40, and is finally caught from behind by number 18, Tommy Grant, and dropped on the 37-yard line. That's good for a gain of 10 yards, and the Argonauts come out running with the first down of the afternoon. From this point to the Hamilton goal line, the footing is pretty good, but it's actually up the middle between the 25-yard line on the Toronto end of the field and the 35-yard line on the Hamilton end of the field where it looks bad. Left end, Linney is split off. Man again to the right shadow, sets outside the left end. Rote going back to throw. The rush is on by Fernandez. Out on the left side to Hernandez. It's over his head and incomplete. Being covered over there by number 15, Zeno Karsh. It'll be second down. 10 to go for the Toronto Argonauts on the Hamilton Tiger Cat 37-yard line. Ronnie Morris comes into the ball game as you see Hernandez 35 leaving. He's limping as he goes off, evidently as he tried to get that last pass and hit the dirt. He injured his leg. So Ronnie Morris, number 11, comes into the backfield for the Argonauts, who are 2nd and 10 on the Hamilton 37. Lenny again, the left end is split off. Man in motion to the right. Shadow outside the left end. Rote is going back to throw out here on this left side to Shadow, and he's got it on the 25 and is dropped on the 23-yard line, and that's good for 14 and a first down. Gary Schreider came over to make the tackle from the right corner, number 12. And the Argonauts, who came out running on the first 2 plays, have come right back with 3 aerials and have a first down on the Hamilton 23-yard line as old Saul Sun comes out to get a look at the action here in Hamilton this afternoon. Tobin Rote, the 34-year-old, 215-pound quarterback, trying to get a belated drive, pitching out here on the right side of Shadow. He's going to be throwing a pass off it. Man is down for the touchdown. Late man from Dick Shadow, from Tobin Rote. And the Toronto Argonauts, who came out running, then went to the pass, then combined the option, and go on top by a score of 6-0 with 12 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in the opening quarter of play.
Mitchell adds the convert to give the Argos a 7-0 lead. Schreider returns the Argo kickoff to the Hamilton 35, where it's first down.
Tiger Cats come right out and are going to test Roberts early in the game. They're going to try to test the Toronto Argonauts early in the game by throwing long to the sideline to C.R. Roberts, who juggled it momentarily and couldn't hold on. Second down and 10 to go for the Cats on their own 35-yard line. And Zuger going up the middle this time with Bobby Kuntz breaking into the 50, down to the 45, the 35, and he's caught from behind by Art Johnson. The ball is fumbled and the Argonauts have recovered.
Well, there was one that Bobby Kuntz really got fooled on. He had a blocker ahead of him. One tackler coming in from his left. And Art Johnson, with that big speed of his, came up from behind. And as Kuntz moved away from the Argonaut tackler on the other side, Johnson really hit the ball in the elbow, and Kuntz at the same time just knocked it loose. A great play by Johnson. Bobby Kuntz relaxed at the wrong time.
That was a 49-yard run by Bobby Kuntz before he lost the ball. The Argos are now 1st and 10 on the Argonaut 26-yard line. They've got Barrow, a defensive right end now, in a 4-man line, trying to put the heat on Rote. They take the draw to McDougal, and Rote throwing long down the sideline here to Hernandez. It is no good. Johnny Henley had it and could not hold on for an interception. Argonauts faking to McDougal here, trying to get rid of that four-man rush by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who have Barrow and Ray. Barrow 61 at right end, Ray 66 at left end, with Angelo Mosca 68 at left tackle and Willie McClung 65 at right tackle. Trying to put the heat on Tobin Rote, and he came out with time to throw. Lenny, the left end, is split off in a 2nd and 10 situation. Going back again to throw. Tobin Rote chase, throws a screen out here to Jerry Filt into the 25, and he's shot and dropped there by Zeno Karsh, number 15. There was a big area there for Filt to go had Karsh not caught him by the ankle. There's no gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 10 to go for the Toronto Argonauts. And for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, going back to receive, we have Tommy Grant, number 18, and 22, Don Southern on the 35. Now, Dave Mann is kicking into this 15-mile-an-hour wind from the Toronto 11-yard line. Jim Andriotti is in there at center, number 41, since Argos have been having trouble with the long snaps. And this wobbler holds up with Grant under it on the 50. He moves into the 55, into the Toronto 54-yard line. He is hit and driven down by Jerry Filt and Bill Mitchell.
Hamilton, with Joe Zuger at quarterback, fails to move on the next sequence, and after an exchange of punts, it's Tiger Cat ball, 1st and 10 at their own 50-yard line.
Wasn't supposed to, but he does. They hand off to Kuntz up the middle, and he's caught on an ankle tackle there by LeBron Shields, and is dropped just at the 51-yard line, maybe the 52. It is 2nd down and 8 to go. So all these clubs have been doing a lot of juggling in the latter stages of the campaign. And a lot of newcomers have let his players in new positions have looked very good. Henley, 26, flanking to the left. Tim Reed to the right. Zuger dropping back to throw. And he's got that long one out there to Patterson on the 45. Back into the 40. And is dropped on the 40-yard line. And hit in there by 3 Toronto Argonauts. And gets 20 yards on the play. Tom Modlin in their defensive halfback, along with Art Johnson, moved up to make the tackle along with Jim Roundtree. And we'll have Tilray going in to replace Hal Patterson, number 77. Patterson is the top receiver in the Eastern Conference. He has caught 38 passes for 863 yards and 6 touchdowns. Zuger, by the way, in 2 games, leads touchdown passes in the Eastern Conference with 10, getting 8 of them in 1 game, of course. 1st and 10 now for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the 40. Zuger out to the right to Tim Reed. Covered on the 35. There's a flag on the play, and there's a holding penalty. Hamilton Tiger Cats are called for holding. Dave Mann came up to make the tackle, and the Argonauts have made a number of changes defensively here with Morris playing out on the right corner. Roundtree as the right halfback. Andriotti as the middle linebacker, but he's been covering almost from side to side. They have Mann in there at defensive halfback and Modlin. Well, the holding penalty brings the ball back to the Toronto 51, where it is 1st down over again, and 20 yards to go now for the Cats, who trail 7-0. 6.5 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Joe Zuger going back to throw, looking to this right side, and the dump pass. It is good there to Easterly. On the 40, there's another flag on the play, and he is dropped on the 38-yard line. And Tom Modlin, number 15, came up for the Argonauts to make the tackle. And let's see what this penalty is. Illegal interference against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And Jim Roundtree, the defensive captain, takes the penalty, at least asks for the penalty to be marched off, and this will move the ball back to the Hamilton 50-yard line, where it'll be 1st down over again, but with 30 yards to go.
Must have ruled that ball crossed the line of scrimmage. Instead of being a screen pass where there would be blocking permitted, a pass behind the line of scrimmage, the lineman allowed a block downfield, and this one, obviously, they've ruled that he caught it past the line of scrimmage.
1st and 30 for the Tiger Cats. Zuger rolling out to his right, and he's being chased over here by Andriotti. He takes off to the midfield stripe and is dropped on the Toronto 49-yard line. 11 yards was the gain by Joe Zuger. Andriotti made the tackle along with Roundtree. It'll be 2nd down and 19 to go for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Joe Zuger rolling out of there, and his first receiver, Dick Easterly, slipped and fell, and this is what forced Zuger to take off. Henley is wide to the left. Tim Reed wide to the right. And Zuger on a quick kick. Pounds it down to the end zone. A good call here. He's got the wind, and it's going to be deep in there as Mann goes back to pick it up. He falls on the ball, loses it, and then picks it up again just as he is hit by Henley, and it is a 7-1 ball game, but there's a flag back at the original line of scrimmage. A flag at the original line of scrimmage. Rough play against either side, both sides. There's a rough play call against Hamilton. Now he has to repeat it against Argonauts as well. And this all happened way down back of the original line of scrimmage, so we missed the call. Just saw the flag flutter down. In the meantime, Coach Jim Trimble takes the opportunity to send in Carruthers in place of Puritan, and they've been juggling those two in and out of there with plays from the bench.
Rough play call against the Argonauts, and they're asking Zuger, did he want the penalty or the single point? They march off 15 yards now.
The second down over again, now with 2 yards to go. It is back to a 7-0 ball game. That was a 65-yard quick kick by Joe Zuger, but now they have second down and 2 to go. They were first and 30 at one stage on this march. Henley is out to the right, Tim Reed out to the left, and they give here to Big Ken Kilray, and Kilray goes into the 23-yard line before he is brought down by Jim Roundtree, and they have the first down. 10 yards was the length of the game. First and 10 for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the Toronto 24-yard line. They've continued to hold on to that ball in this weird sequence out here. The ball tipped away. Tom Maudlin was able to touch it, intended there for Paul Decker. The telecast of this game between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Argonauts is coming to you from Hamilton. Five minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Joe Zuger rolling out to his right. Gets away from Wilson, and the pass down here is good to Kilray to the 10, the 5, and he is touchdown on the 2-yard line. Ken Kilray, touchdown on the 2. 22 yards was the length of the gain, and Zuger, even though Big Andriotti was putting that heat on him, he knew he was coming, but he stood right in there and waited for Kilray to get in his spot to take the pass. It is first and goal to go now for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the Toronto 3-yard line. Dick Easterly came out right, goes left. They give to Bobby Kuntz, and he is dropped on the 2-yard line and rolled back. There'll be very little gain, if any, on that, as Maudlin, Wilson, Johnson, and Strickler all came up to get a piece of Bobby Kuntz. Kuntz is still coming off that injury, and you can tell because he's starting out of there not much slower, but somewhat slower than he normally does. Toronto Argonauts line up in an 7-man line as they send Maudlin back to cover. And here's Zuger rolling to his left. He's trying to throw that ball into that end zone to Reed, and it is too far. They went over the dead ball line, and Reed couldn't reach up for it. That'll make it third down, and goal to go from the 3. And Don Southern hasn't come off the bench as yet, but Carruthers does, and he takes the play into the offensive unit with him. And coming out is 51 Hardeman Curitan. Third down, and 3 to go for the Tiger Cats on the Toronto 3-yard line. And Joe Zuger going to pass, and it's good there to Kilray. Number 16, Ken Kilray, with his first touchdown of the year. And that 60-yard march took a total of 10 plays and most of the quarter.
Southern's convert is wide, and so the Argos lead 7-6 at the end of the first quarter of play. Zeno Karst recovers an Argo fumble on the first play of the second quarter, but the Cats are forced to kick in 3 plays. The teams exchange punt, and it's Argo ball, first down at their own 10-yard line.
Toronto Argonauts will be 1st and 10 on the Toronto 10-yard line. Linney 75 at left end, Phillips 79 at right end. Shadow in motion left, man in motion left. And the Tobin Roach fakes the drop the middle. He's going to be throwing a long one down here to Shadow, and he's got... Oh, Shadow had it for one step, but couldn't hold on, and he was well in behind Golston, Grant, and Southern.
Well, there's an example of a guy with a sure pair of hands. He's getting in behind everybody and taking that little extra step, taking off with the ball before he really got it. He took his eyes off, and that thing went through his hand, hit his hip, and bounced up in the air. But a little over anxious, a good enough game where you sort of look that ball right into your hands, make sure you've got it before you start running. He didn't.
2nd down and 10 to go for the Argonauts on the 10-yard line, and they gave Roach a lot of protection on that one. Nobody got anywhere near him. McDougall, the fullback. Hernandez on the right side, and again, the rush is on this time, but it's out there to Shadow, and Shadow is dropped on the 17-yard line. That'll make him 3 yards away from the first down. Golston was over there to cover him, and Golston was the only man on that sideline, too, because Shadow sort of slid out there, and Golston, it's pretty hard to beat Golston twice in a row. He was beaten on the first one, but he recovered on this one. Tommy Grant and Don Southern will go back. Man will boot from his own 3-yard line. He's kicking with the wind here. And the receivers are down on the Hamilton 40. Bad snap. Still gets the ball away, however. And he pounces Andy down to Southern on the 45-yard line. Chased down here by Bruce Claridge. Gets away from Claridge. And finally, Reckner brings him down on the Toronto 46. The Argos are really having their miseries on those snaps with that punter. 48-yard boot there. A creditable performance by Man, considering the fact that he had to feel that before he could get it. 20 yards to run back, and the Tiger Cats are 1st and 10 on the Toronto 46-yard line. Tim Reed set out to the right. Zuger looking to this left sideline. Now he rolls back to his right as nobody is open, and it's a long one down there. It's intercepted by Art Johnson. And he's dropped by Tim Reed on the 5-yard line. The pass was intended for Reed. He was in behind Johnson, but Johnson has about a foot advantage in height there, and he picked it off.
Nice shot there of Art Johnson, getting a lot of congratulations from him. He played that one well. Zuger throwing against the wind. Couldn't quite get the distance that he wanted on it, and Johnson knew that, and he sort of, he didn't let, you notice he didn't let Reed get too far behind it.
1st and 10 Argos on their own 5-yard line. Man is flanked wide to the right. Shadow goes in motion laterally. They go to McDougall up the middle. He's caught by Willie McClung. Hit on the 9-yard line and driven back. Forward point of advance, they rule, is just between the 9 and the 10. So it's a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5 to go for the Argonauts. We have a 7-6 ball game with Argos leading, and 8 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Norm Stoneberg is back in at center on 1st and 2nd down plays, and they give here to Hernandez, trying to turn the corner behind John Rollick, his guard, and he is dropped right on the 14-yard line. Mosca was in there to hit him, and this may be about a half a yard away from the first. Hamilton fans booing Toronto because they're not gambling, which is not an unnatural reaction here. The yardsticks are on their way out. It's looked like he was about a half a yard away.
Looks like they're probably daring Workowski to send it at barrel.
It'll be third down with a half a yard to go for the Toronto Argonauts, and in a 7-6 ball game, back on your own 14-yard line, it's not exactly the spot to be taking chances. Grant and Southern will be back to receive for Toronto, at least for Hamilton on this Toronto kick. And let's just see what the Argonauts are going to do. Andriotti is going in there at center to snap the ball, and Mann will be booting from his own goal line. Good snap this time, and Mann pounds it up with Southern and Grant. Southern takes it on the 51, is up to the 55, and snakes in underneath to the 53-yard line. Hit there by Doug Campbell. The telecast of this game between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto Argonauts coming to you from Hamilton. First and 10, Hamilton. Reed goes in motion to the right. Zuger rolling out to the right. Pass down that right side. A great catch by Donnie Henley. And he is stopped there by Johnson on the 36. "17 yards the length of the gain." This little Garney Henley, who goes in there at, 180 pounds. He's been with the Cats for years. Every time they bring in somebody else, they replace him offensively, then they have to go back to Henley again. Reed and Henley are out to the right this time with Easterly, and Zuger steps into that pocket and moves into the 28-yard line, caught from behind by Strickler and McNichol. The intended receiver on that play was to be Dick Easterly. He went down to the flag on the right side, but when he was covered, Zuger saw the pocket open up, and he steps up for 8. So it'll be second down and 2 on the Toronto 27-yard line. Hamilton going against the wind and making it work. Zuger looking to that left side again, and there's a flag on the play. Illegal interference against the Toronto Argonauts, which will make it a first down there. First and 10, Hamilton at the point of the 24. They had enough for the first down anyway, but had they not, it would have been awarded. Toronto with Shields, Beck, Radzik, McNichol, and Smith, that defensive line. Back into the pocket goes Zuger, looking out of his left side, and Henley's got it, and he's gone for the touchdown. Johnny Henley went 24 yards. Gets his 9th touchdown of the year, and he beat Tom Modlin on it.
Southern's convert is good to send Hamilton in front 13-7. Bottoms returns the kickoff to the Argo 40-yard line, where it's first down.
Stoneberg 40 at center. First and 10 for the Argonauts. Mann goes in motion left. Hernandez is back and in motion, and here's Rote going to have to hurry, and he goes to that sideline, and Shadow makes a great catch, but is he untouched? Yes, he is. They ruled that he made the catch on the 49-yard line. And look at the protest from Tommy Grant. And Don Southern has to come over to restrain Tommy Grant. Look at this. Hamilton fans, of course, are claiming that the pass was taken out of bounds. "21 yards was the length of the gain, and the Argonauts have a first down on the Hamilton 48-yard line. It's first and 10, Toronto. Man again to the left with Shadow. They fake to McDougal, and Rote looking for that long sideline to Man, and it is intercepted. And returning the ball is Don Southern. He is back up to the 25. Let's see what the interference call is. It's on the point where the infraction took place, which was on the 11-yard line. Illegal interference is the call against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and the Argonauts will have an automatic first down right there.
You know, there was no hesitation about the official calling that, Johnny. The flag was up in the air as Southern caught the ball, and he's right on the spot. You can't blame the Hamilton players for protesting just a little.
It's 1st and 10 now for the Argos on the 11-yard line. Man goes in motion right. Hernandez left. They give to Hernandez into the 9-yard line and is dropped on the 8-yard line. It's a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7 to go for the Toronto Argonauts. Angelo Mosca was in to make the tackle along with Don Southern. It is 2nd down and 7 to go for the Argonauts. Rather lively crowd here this afternoon. Jim Roundtree is a flanker. Number 20, he comes out to the right side. And Tobin Road going back to throw. Looking in, he's caught back there. Going to run the ball, and it is good here to Hernandez for the touchdown. Ron Ray, 66, is shaken up on the play and helped to his feet by one of the Toronto players. It's now a 13-13 ball game, and looks like we're going to have shades of Ottawa and Montreal all over again.
Mitchell's convert is good to send the Argos in front 14-13. The Cats failed to move the ball after the kickoff, and after an exchange of punts, it's Hamilton ball, 1st and 10 at their own 46.
24 flank.
14-13. The Cats failed to move the ball after the kickoff, and after an exchange of punts, it's Hamilton ball, 1st and 10 at their own 46.
24 flank out to the left, and here is Zucker going back, looking to that left side, sending it for Easterly, and he's got it on the 50 and is driven out on the 45-yard line. That's good for 19 yards and the 1st down as Jim Andriotti drove out Dick Easterly. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats, with 1 minute and 3 seconds left in the 1st half, have a 1st down on the Toronto 45. Coming out of there in a hurry now to get as many plays in as they can. Zuger looking down to that right side, and it is good on the 35-yard line. Easterly comes up another 10-yard pass. They rule him down on the 34-yard line, so it'll be a gain of 11. And it's now 1st and 10 for Hamilton. And Hamilton have had a knack of scoring in the last half a minute of a 1st half against Toronto most times they play. Here's Zuger going back with a lot of time to throw. Back onto the right side, no good. Intending it for Ken Kilray, went into the dirt. Don Southern comes off the bench with 26 seconds remaining. On a 2nd down situation, they feel that there may not be time for 2 plays. Therefore, they'll go for a field goal and try to take a lead into the 2nd half. "41 yards. They try to find a flat spot in that muddy area to kick it from. Robbie Jack Oliver's 49-yarder yesterday, the longest in quite some years. And the kick is wide, and running it out there is Tom Maudlin. He gets out to the 3-yard line, and he's hit there by 4 Hamilton Tiger Cats, led in there by Kilray. The gun sounds to end the 1st half of the game, with Toronto leading Hamilton 14-13. The telecast of this game between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto Argonauts is coming to you from Hamilton.
And so the score at halftime has Toronto in front 14-13 in this all-important game for the Argos. A loss means that the Alouettes will lead them by 3 points for the 3rd and final playoff spot, with just 2 games remaining for each team. The Ticats are shooting to regain 1st place in this game as they trailed Ottawa by a point going into the contest. Let's get back with the 2nd half.
Watch the bounce. It goes into the end zone, 5 yards back. C.R. Roberts now up to the 5-yard line. He is up to the 10. He is hit hard on the 10 and is caught by the ankles and is dropped on about the 13-yard line. And going in there to get him was John Rector, the Toronto Argonaut rookie. Jerry Wilson hit him first. That was a 70-yard kick and an 18-yard return.
You notice Wilson staying down on one knee there, wondering why Roberts was still going forward?
Easterly and Reed out to the right. They give to Roberts, trying to turn that corner. He's boxed in by Art Johnson and dropped on the 16-yard line. It's a gain of 3. Wilson, Shields, and Mann all over there. This is the first time Mann has gone both ways for the Toronto Argonauts this year. Hamilton have Kilroy 16 at left end and 75 Decker at right end. DeNoble 62 at left tackle, Nagurski 60 at right tackle. And they've got those two halfbacks flanked wide to the left this time. Zuger's looking to that down the middle now, and it is knocked down. Ron Morris stepped right in front of Dick Easterly, tried to intercept, and could not hold on. So that'll make it 3rd down and 7 to go for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the Hamilton 16-yard line. Lynn Bottoms and Joe Hernandez come back to the near the midfield stripe for the Toronto Argonauts. And the Argos of Jerry Philp is a mid-safety man standing up there on the Hamilton 40-yard line. Zuger from his own 1. It's a high snap, and he kind of tries to angle it out to the right. Bottoms up on the 40, up to the 35, and is dropped on the 35 by Ron Ray, number 66. So the Toronto Argonauts will have a 1st and 10 on the Hamilton 35-yard line as they get their hands on the ball for the first time in this quarter. That was a 25-yard kick, a 6-yard run back, and that 15-mile-an-hour wind has pushed right around now, and you can tell by its, well, you can tell its velocity by the fact that Zuger got only a 25-yard kick away. Lenny, 75, splits off to the right. Man in shadow out to the left for Toronto. Hernandez, 35, is out to the right. And McDougall, 25, the fullback. The rush is on. There's a screen out to the right side to McDougall, and he stepped out on the 34-yard line. He winds up with a gain of 1 yard on the play. Second down and 9 to go. Argos on the Hamilton 34. Ralph Golston and Don Southern, the halfback, will be flaring to the right now to cover the wide part of the field as Shadow and Man set out that way. Tobin Rote backs the pass, and he is hit back there, and he still gets the pass away to Shadow on the 30. And Shadow is dropped on the 27-yard line. It'll make him 2 away from the first down. Strider came up to hit him. That's the second time that Rote has been completely boxed in and has been able to spin off and complete a pass. The first one was for a touchdown. 3rd down and 2 to go for the Argonauts on the Hamilton 27-yard line. And we'll probably be going for the 3-pointer here as Don Southern goes back. And Mitchell will be booting from the 33 and almost directly in front. 14-13 is the score for Toronto. The ball is up, and it's good. Southern takes it on the fly in the end zone, but it's through the uprights, and we have a 17-13 ball game with the Argonauts scoring 3 points. Now, they picked off a touchdown the first time they had the ball at the start of the game, and they come off with 3 points here first time they had the ball in the second half.
Hamilton fails to move the ball after the field goal. The teams exchange punt, and it's Argo ball, 2nd and 8 at the Ticat 51-yard line.
And Tobin Rote, hey, the ball is fumbled, and finally Rote has to grab it, but he does not get it. Hamilton comes up with the ball. Now, that was a kind of a weird one because he handed to McDougall. McDougall somehow didn't know the ball was coming or didn't know he had it or whatever it was. Then Rote saw the ball sitting there. He dove for it, and Vince Scott came up with it. 10 for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the Hamilton 54-yard line. 6 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. Halfback flankers out to the right. Kuntz goes in motion. They give to Kuntz, trying to turn the corner. Caught there by Jerry Wilson and McNichol, and is dropped on the 50. It's a gain of 6. Just over the 50, so we'll have to make it 7. Johnny Henley goes into the ball game with a play from Coach Jim Trimble, and C.R. Roberts comes out. 24,500 here this afternoon, and that now gives us 525,000 in Eastern football fandom this year, and they're going for 600,000 on a new record. Joe Zuger fakes to Kuntz. There's a flag on the play. The flip out here is to Henley. He is boxed in and dropped there by Ken Beck on the 50-yard line, but there's a Toronto offside. So the Hamilton Tiger Cats will wind up with their first down after all, but they would have been forced into a punting situation on that last one. So Hamilton will have the ball, 1st and 10 on the Toronto 44. Paul Decker, 6'5", 220-pounder, who has been with the Hamilton Tiger Cats for 7 years at right end. And here is Zuger rolling out to the right. He may take off, though he's caught back in here and dropped by Jerry Wilson for a loss of 4. He was trying to get Easterly and Decker down to that right sideline, but they couldn't shake off Andriotti and Johnson. That's big Jerry Wilson, 230-pounder, who came to Argos in the big player shuffle. 2nd down and 14 for Hamilton on the Toronto 48. Toronto has managed to pick up 3 points in this third quarter with the win. Hamilton will have it going home. Wide flankers left and right, and Zuger is going back to throw. He takes off, and he gets up to the 45. There's a flag on the play. He is dropped on the 47. There was a flag marked downfield. A holding penalty against the Toronto Argonauts. Successive plays, they hit the Tiger Cats with big rushes and held him, but now the successive penalties have moved the ball up to the 38. So the Hamilton Tiger Cats now have 2nd down and 4 to go on the Toronto 38. Chet Mix at center. Flankers to the right. Henley goes in motion left, and here is Zuger rolling out, going down there. It is intercepted by Ron Morris. Now Zuger is the only man that can catch him. They can block on this, so he should go all the way, and he does. Ron Morris went 79 yards for the touchdown.
Mitchell's convert sends the Argos in front 24-13. After the kickoff, it's Ticat ball at their own 39.
Cosentino comes into the ball game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And Reed to the left, Henley to the right, Cosentino looking down that middle, and it is good to Easterly, and he's gone to the 30, the 25, and he's gone all the way. "71 yards from Frank Cosentino to Dick Easterly."
Southern's convert is good to make the score Argos 24, Hamilton 20. The teams exchange punts as the third quarter comes to an end.
Toronto has 9 first downs, Hamilton 15 after 3 quarters of play. Toronto 85 yards rushing, Hamilton 124. Toronto has completed 10 out of 18 passes for 99 yards. Hamilton 12 out of 25 for 217 yards. Toronto has intercepted 2, Hamilton 1. And there have been 2 field goals attempted. Toronto's was good, and Hamilton's was wide. Hamilton 1st and 10 on the Hamilton 36-yard line. Bobby Kuntz set out to the left, and they go up the middle here to Tim Reed. And Reed moves that ball up to the 50 or the 49-yard line, stopped by Tom Maudlin, and he's got plenty for the first down. 12 yards was the length of the gain, and Tim Reed, the first time he gets to carry the ball here today, after running tirelessly up and down as a wide flanker, picks up 12. Hamilton 1st and 10 on their own 49-yard line. Easterly is out to the right, Henley to the right, and they give to Tim Reed back into the middle, and he goes to the 50, and he ran into his own blocker there, Dick Easterly, and is piled up on the 47-yard line. He's got 14 yards in the first down this time.
It was a good call by Cosentino. You know, he just ran it through there, and Argos knew that he wouldn't call that right back again, and that's what he gave him, right back in the same kind of hole. He hadn't run into his blocker. He'd still be running.
Reed is a 180-pounder. First year with the Tiger Cats. He's a rookie. Went to Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar. Cosentino rolling out to his left. He's going to take off with it. the 40, the 35, the 30, and is driven out by Jim Roundtree on the 26. 21 yards was the length of the game by Frank Cosentino.
And about the last 12 of that was set up by young Tim Reed, who went out there as a flanker. Watch, saw that Cosentino was going to take off. Just went in there, threw a perfect block to shake him loose for another 12 yards.
First and 10, Hamilton on the Toronto 26-yard line. You feel the excitement coming on all the way from Montreal here now as the Cats start to take charge. They switch easterly, and they give to Bobby Kuntz, who dives into the 20 and picks up 6 yards. Got that Toronto defense napping there as they crossed their halfbacks, Reed and Easterly, and then gave to the dive man, Bobby Kuntz, who found that side fairly wide open. 2nd and 4 for Hamilton on the Toronto 20, and they moved all the way from their own 36-yard line at the start of this quarter. Halfback split out to the left again. And they fake. Here's Cosentino rolling right. He's caught back there, gets up and goes. Down to the 15, down to the 10, and he is dropped around the 11-yard line. And a first down. 9 yards by Frank Cosentino, who looked like he was going to be tapped back there for a substantial loss. And he's a big boy. He's 6'3", and he goes there 190, and he takes out. Tough kid. There he is, Frank Cosentino. Pride of University of Western Ontario, his 3rd year with the Cats, coming on real strong here in this final quarter. First and 10, Hamilton on the Toronto 11-yard line, and they give to Bobby Kuntz, caught by Doug McNichol, and he is dropped on the 8. 24-20 is the score. Well, Toronto's offensive unit was able to pick up 3 points for them on a field goal in the 3rd quarter. The defense got them the other points. Second down and 6 to go for the Tiger Cats on the Toronto 7-yard line. Wide flankers both left and right this time. Henley now cuts back in as a blocker. Andriotti's got the rush on Cosentino. He made him hurry the throw, and as a result, it went into the dirt. It was intended there for Easterly, who was being covered by Dave Mann.
A big rush there on Cosentino. That linebacker took a chance. He just been floating in instead of picking up a receiver.
Well, the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to gamble for the big 6 here on a 3rd down and 6 situation. They cross those halfbacks once more. And Cosentino fakes, caught back there, throws, and it is knocked down by Art Johnson. Had it in his hands momentarily. Nobody near him, went right through, incomplete. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Toronto Argonauts on the Toronto 7-yard line, and this is the first time the Cats have lost the ball on downs this afternoon. Matter of fact, the first time either club has lost them on downs this afternoon. 20-14 for Toronto over Hamilton. 11 minutes remaining in the ball game. Argos deep in their own zone. Man goes in motion to the left. And they give to Jerry McDougall. Tries to pick his way. He's kind of half knocked off stride by Gary Strider. And then moves into the 11-yard line before he is piled up by Tommy Grant. (24-20), Argos over Hamilton, and 10 minutes, 31 seconds remaining with the 4-yard pickup by McDougall. Gives Toronto a 2nd and 6 on their own 11-yard line. Man to the right, Morris to the right. And they give that drop the middle to McDougall, and he's caught for a gain of inches, if any. That'll be 3rd down. And 6 yards to go for the Toronto Argonauts. Tommy Grant and Don Southern coming back to receive for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on their own 47, and Mann will be booting from behind his own goal line about 4 yards. He's going into this wind. And this one will land at about the 45. It does. Hop straight up. Taken there by Grant on the 45 and is caught there by Zeke Smith on the 39-yard line. The telecast of this game between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto Argonauts is coming to you from Hamilton. First and 10 for the Tiger Cats on the Toronto 39-yard line. Toronto leading 24-20. And Toronto having trouble getting out of their own zone as the Cats keep them bottled up. Flankers left and right. Everybody split off but Bobby Kuntz. And here's Cosentino back to throw. Step forward and going with a long one here. And it is good for the touchdown. Johnny Henley had it. "39 yards, and the Hamilton tandem. You had to wait for a moment because you couldn't tell whether Henley or Morris was going to come up with it, and the rule is that if it's a tie, the offensive player gets it, but Henley just didn't give up.
Southern's convert sends Hamilton on top 27-24. After an exchange of punts, it's Ticat ball at the Argo 21.
Started with Tim Reed, and he is hit right at the line of scrimmage. A tackler by Doug McNichol from the right side. Bobby Kuntz in a kicking motion, signaling to Jim Trimble on the side. Kuntz, by the way, has picked up 106 yards and 13 carries. Not bad for a kid who wasn't supposed to be playing today.
Kuntz is kicking motion, but Jim Trimble had already given it, let's go, run out that clock.
23 seconds remaining. Henley flanks out to the right. Cosentino gives to Kuntz. Kuntz is stopped short of the first down, so Toronto will have one chance. 13 seconds remaining, and here comes that pitch and tray pass. There'll be time for one. 24-27. Tiger Cats leading Argonauts. Well, Argos will still have playoff hope, but it is mathematical now. This will mean Montreal will have a 3-point advantage, and there's only 4 possible points remaining. In other words, the magic number becomes 1 for Montreal. Tobin Road rolling out to his left. He's got 5 receivers downfield, throwing a long one down here to Jerry Philp, and it is no good, tipped away. And there's no gun as yet. There it is. It is all over. And once again, the Hamilton Tiger Cats have come from behind in the second half to beat Toronto. 27.
Once again, the final score of tonight's Elgin Motors Game of the Week, the Hamilton Tiger Cats 27, the Toronto Argonauts 24. Tonight's Game of the Week and all future programs will be seen by our Canadian Armed Services overseas through the courtesy of the British American Oil Company Limited, John Labatt Limited, and CFTO TV. Until our next exciting Game of the Week, this is Tim Ryan speaking for Elgin Motors and saying good night to all good sport.